that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing SoundArt, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat-panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
I'm alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With SoundArt, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. SoundArt is elegantly hidden behind a high-grade, textured canvas wrap, bringing together the best of sound and art. This innovative design allows for a truly invisible, high-fidelity sound experience without bulky speakers. For licensors and other businesses, we are capable of producing thousands of units per day.
We're using the highest quality materials to give you the best product available in the market. Everywhere you look, there's always art. What I like so much about SoundArt, that you could just pair it and play.
Ansia, your art never sounded so good.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome to Dover Motor Speedway, where we get set to go racing once more for race number 12 of the OMSRL Xfinity Series, sponsored by Tucson SoundArt. It's the Car Thrower 130 from the Concrete Mile. Hello, one and all, and welcome to the show. My name is Oliver. I'll be bringing you all the coverage from start to finish. Jacob Noyes is going to be helping out as a pit reporter for the duration of tonight's race as we continue to move our season along. We'll take a quick rundown of how your championship standings shake up coming on over into tonight's race. Obviously, we had the chase-off kickoff just last week, and currently Kenner, Brody, and Peterson tied for the first spot, with Hamilton 5 points back from them. Kyle Munson with 2,036. Total of 19 points separate Kenner all the way back from thrower. Barrett Morton sits a long way out after he did not make it to the first race. So the chase-off, he sits 44 points out and 25 points behind Hunter Thrower. Most notably, though, Matt Rucci had a horrible opening to his season after he got dumped on the last lap of the Talladega Super Speedway. He's on back in 10th with a lot of ground to make up, 16 points down. With only 21 cars, though, getting set to race tonight, you know that means he could be in a world of trouble himself as he tries to get himself all sorted in the championship standings. For now, though, qualifying starting to get underway here from the Dover International Speedway for what will be, no doubt, a very exciting 130 lap race ahead of us around the Monster Mile. A lot of the drivers still starting their laps, but a lot of drivers have already finished their laps as well. As you look at the first groupings to have finished up those laps, Lucas Strayer currently with that provisional pole time. Hamilton just ended off his second lap. It does not look like Logan Hamilton will be able to improve by much. Moves his way up to 5th place on the grid. Spencer Ray, one of the other drivers, still looking for a way around as well as he tries to improve from 4th. 600ths of a second back from Strayer. Also not able to improve. Nate Brody in the number 1 car for Asheville Rooftop Bar Tools just went 6th fastest on the boards, with Colby Wells, Sean Kaiser, and Robert Peterson all looking to set their first laps as well. Brody's going to fire it off of turn number 4, across the line, but scrapes the wall. That might be a lap invalidated. And in fact, it was not. Just got away with that. He moves up to 5th as Colby Wells will put himself down in 11th place. Now rounding his way around to finish off his second lap. Lap times go by quickly here. Currently the fastest time on the board is a 23.43. And Lucas Strayer absolutely on top of it up at the top of the boards. Robert Peterson goes 10th fastest. Meanwhile, Colby Wells ends his second lap and will improve to 10th, bumping Peterson back down to 11th. How about Sean Kaiser as he rounds his way off of turn number 4 to the line. Will Kaiser improve from 13th? He will, all the way up to 7th. And as Robert Peterson crosses the start-finish line next, it's going to be all the way up to the top 5 for the number 97 Kenner Baker Racing car for AMD Radeon. It's going to be a fun race. 15 cars so far have set times. Out of a total 21 cars expected to make starts. Jacob Noyes is registered in the session, but obviously he's standing by to help out up here for today, as well as do some good old race control. And while Cody Harrelson had registered and set 9 practice laps, he has not so far made any qualifying attempts and has not made his way back into the session either. And now, there's not enough time for anybody else to get themselves sorted up at the front of this grid. Now, want to see if we can bring up Jacob Noyes just for the time being here. Obviously, Jacob, you've had a lot of time running in the OMSRL over the course of this season, but Dover is known to be one of the tougher tracks out there, especially when it comes to passing. What do you think might be some of those drivers to look out for tonight?
You know, Hunter's always good here. Spencer's always good here. I don't think we've run with Michael here. And you know that activate Ruchi.exe is always out there. Looking to be a good race. Exit of turn 4 is always the most difficult spot on this track.
Certainly is. So turn 4 obviously going to be one of those things to look out for, and we'll continue to keep our eyes on that corner as the night goes along. For now, though, it is time for us to get ourselves sorted here for your starting grid as we get set to roll off from the Dover International Speedway and the Car Thrower 130. It's going to be Lucas Strayer on pole position with Michael Kenner beside him on the front row. Hunter Thrower going to be down in 3rd place for All-America Motorsports. Spencer Ray rounds out row number 2. Row 3 holds Robert Peterson and Nate Brody. Logan Hamilton for Dirty South Racing and Sean Kaiser are in row number 4. Row 5 has Grant Peterson and Mark Brannigan Jr. rounding out the top 10. Tyler Grannon and Colby Wells sit 11th and 12th with Austin Gassione in 13th, Bear Morton in 14th. Justin Wilson starts 15th. He's the last driver to set a qualifying time. They've got Matt Rucci in 16th, Connor LaFrance in 17th, Purcell is at 18th. Matt LaValle will start at 20th, Kyle Munson in 21st. Cody Harrelson not expected to be making any starts so far here today. Just waiting to see if Kyle Munson won't be making his way on in. He made a very late decision to join this race late, and he is going to be hopefully getting in here in time for the gridding process. But it's one of those who knows sorts of things, but would definitely love to see Munson back out on the racetrack. He's been a regular from the start of the season. And it looks like they are going to hold it just that little bit longer just to wait for him to get that time to grid on up as we get set to go race for 130 laps around the Monster Mile. It's a full concrete oval, and it is the definition of a self-cleaning racetrack due to the high banks running all the way around this very bumpy concrete speedway. Even if you wreck on the straightaways, you're going to find yourself instinctively sliding all the way down to the inside line. But it's very one-line as well. That inside lane going to be the place to be all night long if you want to make moves. If you stay up on the top shelf, you're only leaving yourself open and vulnerable to attacks from behind. Pace car is going to roll off a pit road, and we get set to go racing from Dover International Speedway. As Strayer will line it up beside Michael Kenner on the bottom side of the racetrack. It's one of those feelings of anticipation as the field runs down the narrow back straightaway. It's going to be a race of attrition tonight. It's going to be a race of perseverance. Dover's a very, very tiring racetrack. And it'll be a case of who will be able to outlast it and who will be able to get their cars into the hands of the monster at the end of the race. I want to thank everybody for taking the time to join us here tonight as we get set to go back racing. Pace cars down and in. Lucas Strayer approaches the Geico restart zone. And green flags out. We're underway from Dover. Kenner leads the first lap to green as they are already single-filed all the way out to the back portions of the field where we go side by side with Austin Gassion and Barrett Morton trying to battle it out. The number 19 of Tyler Grenick caught up in the fray as well. Sean Kaiser wanted to make moves up the order. He's going to poke his way around the inside of the 45 of Colby Wells. Lucas Strayer trying to keep Hunter Thrower at bay in the fight for third place as we hit turn 1. As mentioned before, bottom-heavy racetrack. Strayer stays on the top line. Will lose 2 spots in one corner. Thrower and the 6 of Spencer Ray both go through him all at once, and now Strayer's going to have to settle for 4th place for the time being unless he makes something work with that pace under that car and try to get himself sorted up at the front of this field once more. Behind, more of the TI Racing drivers look to make up ground as Colby Wells just looked to the inside of Grant Peterson and made that pass work around the Mahindra Racing Toyota Supra of Grant Peterson. And now is actually looking to go outside line around Robert Peterson down the back straightaway. That's a very bold move to take, but it looks like he's going to try to get the drive off. Might be pushing really hard on those tires, so keep an eye on the 45. See if he's going to end up losing pace in the long run, but he's going to make that pass work. Outside line for Colby Wells, and that's going to move the number 45 car up to 7th. Hunter Thrower has taken the lead away from Michael Kenner. This was done 1 lap ago. Going to look at the overtake for the race lead here as he fires it down to the turn number 1 and just makes that an easy pass on Michael Kenner, who might not have thought that would have been too much. Wanted to see if Thrower might burn his stuff up later on in the green flag run here. Stage caution not going to be making its first appearance tonight until lap number 45, and then from there it'll be an 85 lap dash to the end of this race. Sean Kaiser looking to put Grant Peterson under some pressure deeper in the field. He's looking to the inside of the number 52 through 1 and 2, and that will be a complete pass for Kaiser as he fires it down into 3 and 4. Way behind here, you've still got battle side by side as well, including Barrett Morton trying to get around Tyler Grenick down the front straightaway. The 48 of Justin Wilson wants to take advantage of this as well. Connor LaFrance boxed in from that outside line of the Poppy Bank Chevrolet. And word on the street, Kyle Munson will not be making that start tonight. He has disconnected fully from the session. That happened just about 5 minutes ago, right about in time at the start of this race. The 11 with a late move to the inside on Wilson Avoid, running the 48 over down to the turns 1 and 2. Robert Peterson trying to keep Sean Kaiser at bay, but the 97 car can't hold on as Kaiser pokes to the inside. That's going to be a drag race down the front straightaway in towards turn number 1 for the 11th time today as we hit double digits. And Kaiser clears in 2. Colby Wells trying to link up with his TI Racing teammates. They're going to make it 5th, 6th, and 7th as Logan Hamilton, make that 4th, 5th, and 6th as Logan Hamilton falls back to 7th place. All the while, you've still got drivers in the back here trying to make moves. Look particularly to Matt Rucci, already up 3 spots, but not having the usual early race charges we're used to seeing for the Badger Racing 88. So kind of stuck in 13th at the moment. He's got over a second, though, up to the cars, all the way up in front of him. You can see those drivers way up the road there. Rucci is not having a good time at the moment, trying to get himself sorted up towards the front end of this field. Might have something planned, though, for the longer runs of this race. Still tight for the top three as well. Hunter Thrower has not been able to pull more than a 3/10 lead over Michael Kenner, as Spencer Ray trying to apply pressure to the Kenner Baker Racing High Point Mustang through 1 and 2 down the back straightaway, but Ray's not really able to get his nose in there all that often. I have a feeling he's going to have to maybe hope for the best here a little bit further on down the road in this one, as he almost gets up and scrapes the outside wall. Session of racing all throughout the field for the time being. Looking at Robert Peterson, though, as he's going to make the look to the inside of Sean Kaiser, trying to move up another spot into 8th, but Kaiser keeping that door closed, really pinching the 97 in, but Peterson's still there. I think Grant Peterson just clipped the outside wall a touch down the back straightaway as we reel it back into 3 and 4. And there's the outside wall, striking Robert Peterson, exit of 4 down the front straightaway. Able to recover it, but a little bit of right front damage now as a result of the number 97 car, and you might be able to see that right here. If we go on board there, you can see a little bit of a crinkle right on that right front quarter panel, right above the wheel well. That's not going to do him any sort of favors for the time being. Doesn't look like it's too bad. He should be fine to keep his all sorted. For now, he's got to hope that doesn't exacerbate with maybe more hits further on down the line. Michael Kenner has been up and past Hunter Thrower, as Kenner will retake the race lead. We'll take a look back on how this one happened. It was off of 3 and 4. Kenner made the move on entry to 3. Oh, and almost a bit of contact there down the front straightaway, but Kenner's going to make that position secured in turn 1. Robert Peterson making another effort to get around Sean Kaiser for 8th place, and this time he'll clear the 24 for All-American Motorsports on the inside. Apart from the occasional glance off the wall, there's been no real incidents as of yet. It's been very smooth sailing. Everybody's been taking the time here just to let the track come to them. There's a very big field spread as well. As you can see, bottom right, there's about half a lap now separate between first and last place in this field. Michael Kenner has that long run pace. He started to pull away from Hunter Thrower, as Spencer Ray is going to overtake the 83 Lowe's Chevrolet down to turn 1. It's interesting, Kenner's always said that he doesn't have the best long run pace. That has been something he's been constantly trying to work on time and time again throughout this season. But now it looks like he has found whatever he needed to in that number 98 car to get himself well sorted up here in this race, as he now has about a half a second lead on Spencer Ray. Kaiser way up the hill, allowing Brannigan Jr. up the inside line. The 16 car is going to go through. There's Matt Rucci. He's caught up to this field. He just got by Austin Gassione a little while ago. Now he's going to have to try and look around Sean Kaiser, but Kaiser wants to get the 16 back, implying maybe the 24 just had a bad entry into turn number 1. But that 88 car not about to be stopped, as he's going to look to the inside line, and Matt Rucci gets up into 11th. Brannigan will be his next target to get into the top 10 and get some stage points. And it is that easy. Right to the inside, as if Brannigan were standing still. No contest. Brannigan won't fight back into turn number 1. Rucci is up to the top 10, +6 now for where he started today. No, else is +6. How about this driver here, Colby Wells? Well, it looks like he's not about to move up any higher anytime soon, as Logan Hamilton just pulled out to about a second or so over the TI Racing driver. He's got a teammate, Nate Brody, right behind him to provide some rear gunner support, so Wells doesn't have to worry so much in that department. Caution flag is going to be out on the Speedway, as Sean Kaiser has had problems and destroyed back end for the 24 car and a front end fast. I'm willing to bet he backed it into the wall somewhere. We are now under our first yellow flag here of the night. So we'll take a look briefly. Actually, you know, we'll wait till the pit stops shake off first, then we'll get an idea of what will be taking place throughout the remainder of this race so far. Is anybody going to be making that trip down and into pit road? That's going to be a big ticket question here for a lot of these guys at the moment. It doesn't look like there's going to be too many, actually. A good chunk of your field staying out. Nobody really wanting to make that trip down to pit road. That's honestly surprising. Usually you'll be having a lot of these guys coming on down into pit road initially, but very surprised that the only drivers coming on down and in are going to be Sean Kaiser, and right behind him you've got Justin Wilson into pit road as well, but it looks like Wilson's got a bit of damage on his car as well that he likely just wants to get fixed up as well. So as Michael Kenner holds the race lead for the time being, going to take a replay of what happened here to Sean Kaiser. Is off turn 4. Oh, the turn 4 wall and run over by Austin Gassion hard into the inside wall and spinning back up the racetrack. It's nothing really that Gassion could do on that one. That was just Kaiser pushing way too hard. Up, wall, tail, and right down in the front end. And Baron Morton just barely managed to get around that. So a lucky escape for a few drivers there. Gonna get a look on what this looked like from Austin Gassion, and the number 7 car was right behind this mess. And there's just not a whole lot you can do when you're in a situation like this. And yeah, sure enough, just a random clean over. I mean, what can you do in a situation like that? From Baron Morton, who was right behind this mess and just avoided Sean Kaiser from spinning back up the racetrack. If he was maybe another 10th of a second behind, that door would have absolutely been fully closed. And one more look from Connor LaFrance. As LaFrance had to go low, whereas Morton went up high. So under the yellow flag then for the first time tonight, as Kaiser has this critical error. And Jacob talked about the outside wall turn 4 definitely being a huge part in how this race would play out. One of the items to watch out for. Well, it just claimed its first victim tonight. And Jacob, you might have some potential information here as to why some of these drivers might be a bit hesitant to pit on only the 27th lap of this race.
Yeah, as a league rule, we only have 3 sets of tires in pits, so you got 130 laps, you got to try and stretch out all 3 sets. So I think a lot of people are just trying to save as much as they can for now.
So that's 3 sets total then, 2 changes plus the one you start on?
3 sets in the pits, so 4 sets.
Ah, okay, 4 sets total. So, yeah, that definitely throws a bit of a wrench into the works. I imagine drivers would be wanting to split them up maybe every quarter or so. And obviously, we are not at the quarter point of this race just yet. It's going to be a tough run for a lot of these guys as let's go back out aboard the pace car. Fastest lap of the race so far looks to have been, as I quickly scroll through my notes here, set by Spencer Ray with a 23.86. It'll be lap number 30 when we take the green flag, meaning still 16 laps before we get to our stage brake caution for the car thrower 130. Michael Kenner was pulling away. We'll see if he'll be able to do the same, as he will let the pace car pull down to the pit road and enter the Geico restart zone. Back to green, wheel spin for the 98 car, though. You saw him shoot up to the top side, but he still gets away well as we're back to green flag racing. Underthrower Spencer Ray, side by side, down the back straightaway. Ray's going to pull clear for the top shelf, down to the turns 3 and 4 with the entire field single filed out right behind, except when they're not, as Matt Rucci. Fifth boxed in on all sides. We're going to go 3 wide. Matt LaValle up the middle of 3 abreast. That's not going to work out all too well. He's going to back out of it. A close call for the number 61 of Matt LaValle, though, as he tried to force the issue of the middle lane, though. It was not happening. He gets squeezed in and forced to yield. Lucas Strayer weaving left and right down the back straightaway as he tries to keep teammate Nate Brody behind him, along with the 52 car of Grant Peterson. That's letting Colby Wells pull away as Spencer Ray collects the outside wall, led Hunter Thrower up into second place, and Hamilton will move to third. Behind them, Strayer now starting to fall back down the order as Grant Peterson is on his inside, checking up the field. Matt Rucci in the mix right behind these guys. So is Brannigan, Morton LaFrance, and more. Way up on the high side is Strayer. Robert Peterson can't capitalize. Neither can Mark Brannigan. And as Strayer moves way up to the top shelf, that will allow Robert Peterson this time up the inside, but it won't be enough to clear. And in fact, with that diamond off of the corner, Lucas Strayer is going to clear Peterson by the time he gets down to 3 and 4. That's a great tactic for trying to defend positions, but not so much trying to gain positions, as both Peterson and Morton get to the outside wall that last time by. 10 to go in stage 1. Michael Kenner still pulling away at the front of the field while Thrower holds up Logan Hamilton right behind him. All-American Motorsports and DSR not playing along at the moment as Logan Hamilton tries to run down Hunter Thrower just up the road from him. But deep in the pack, you've still got drivers scrambling for positions as LaFrance and Peterson nearly hook each other, getting held up behind Mark Brannigan Jr. If these guys don't get this all sorted out back here, this is probably going to end in a caution before the end of the stage here. Oh, there it is! Peterson sliding to the inside, and he's going to somehow recover the car. Robert Peterson with one heck of a save as he had to really work that wheel. Definitely got to get another look at that one as Robert Peterson had to manhandle this car down into turns 1 and 2 on lap 39. Gonna jump up a little bit and we'll ride on board for this half a lap here leading up to this incident. You can see how much Brannigan was holding up Peterson up the road. I think Peterson got a bit desperate and he tried to look for the inside and might just got out of shape. And he did. He hit the brakes too hard, but that was a great correction there, able to save himself from any further damage. Meanwhile, after Spencer Ray's hit with the outside wall, he too has been losing time, as now Matt Rucci is looking to pounce, and he's going to work his way up and by the number 6. Spencer Ray up to 4th. A caution flag now would mean the stage would finish under the yellow flag, but it would not finish when the yellow flag came out. In fact, that is how Robert Peterson picked himself up a stage win just last week at Talladega. Meanwhile, Grenett gets underneath his Go Fast Racing teammate of Austin Gassion. And only now do things finally start to spread out as this field continues to work its way around. We hit 2 laps left to go in stage number 1 for the Dover International Speedway. It's looking like it's going to be smooth sailing at the moment. Matt Rucci trying to keep Hamilton at bay now, as in fact actually made up the pass on Logan Hamilton as he tries now to run away and maybe go after Hunter Throw before the stage will end. But Michael Kenner rounding turn number 4. We start the final lap in stage number 1 as Kenner's going to run down into turns 1 and 2. He's got a 1.3 second advantage here over the field behind him. So Kenner's going to enter turns 3 and 4 and give it up for the number 98 High Point Kenner Baker Racing Mustang as Michael Kenner will win stage number 1. And there you have your top 20, or your top 10. Kenner, Thrower, Rucci from Hamilton, Ray, Wells, Peterson, Strayer, Brody, and Brannigan round out the field. What a way, though, to wrap up stage number 1. That was just absolutely superb what we had seen there, as good, hard, solid racing all throughout this field. Now I think would be high time for drivers to come on down to the pits. You got yourself a free pit stop, you may as well from here. Field's going to catch up to the back of the number 98 car as we expect to see everybody coming on down into pit road this time by. Entire cavalry steadily making their way on in as Iverson Pace car stays out on the racetrack. Only the bottom 3 that have not taken to the grid, Harrelson, Munson, and Noyes, are not in pit road. Obviously, well, I guess they would be if they were to get into their cars, but neither of those drivers are going to be making any hits so far here tonight. Kenner was the first one down. The question is, will he be the first one out, as Lucas Strayer went into his pit box right in front of Michael Kenner. He's really racing, though. Hunter Throw right behind him is right on his heels. Left sides, here comes Rucci, and it's going to be Matt Rucci to be the first one. No, I think actually Hunter Thrower might have been the first one out of pit road. So a lot of drivers with some very, very pit stop times here, but it is Hunter Thrower to lead them off of pit road. Interesting developments then from pit road. We'll get all back to that and more in just a moment. For now, though, yellow flag is out for the second time today from Dover. We'll be back in just a moment.
SoundArt introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of 2 products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. SoundArt ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Still under our second yellow flag of the night, and while it's been a good race for us to watch up here in the booth, it's not being so much for all the drivers down there, and to actually quote Spencer Ray, as was mentioned under this latest caution, instead of doing this, we should all be watching The Mummy by Brendan Fraser. So, or The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, excuse me. So, some drivers obviously very desperate to get out of Dover, it would seem, and just move on over into the next race. But they're going to have to suffer through about another 80 laps here before they'll be able to move on over to the next race in the chase-off. Pace cars down and in. Hunter Thrower going to be in control as he'll enter the Geico restart zone and takes us back to green. Still way out in front of Matt Rucci, but that 88 car is not going to be content to sit around there. Everybody now is on fresh tires, and they're going to be wanting to be chomping at the bit here to get their way up and past this field. Otto LaFrance looking to pick off some more of TI as he'll try to get to the inside of Nate Brody, but Brody pulls clear off of turn number 4. Matt Rucci just set his personal best time of the race at 24.13, as did Connor LaFrance at 24.09. That is not, however, even close to Thrower's fastest lap of the race so far for 23.79. The drivers doing a bunch of wiggling around back here as Sean Kaiser gets out of Spencer Ray's way, and Stefan Purcell trying to find a way through as well. And how about up the road as Nate Brody will get back by Grant Peterson, the number 52 Mahindra Racing Toyota Supra, dropping back down. All the while, Rucci still out in front and still trying to make an effort to stay up there in the second position as Lucas Strayer looks to the inside of Connor LaFrance. LaFrance now trying to hang on. The 11 car running that top lane, trying to put one down, prevent him from getting the good exit. It's not, well, it's working for now as Strayer hasn't been able to make the spot up. LaFrance, I think, might have found a good defensive line to utilize here. Is now that's actually going to allow him to use that as an offensive line. To the outside of Grant Peterson goes the number 11. And he's going to clear Grant Peterson. So good attempt there from Connor LaFrance as the defense turns into an offense. Strayer will follow suit and go high around the 52 of Grant Peterson. And Brandigan picks off Spencer Ray right on cue. Hamilton left the door open into turns 1 and 2, letting Colby Wells up his inside. Nate Brody trying to follow suit. That 12 car just doesn't have the pace on that top shelf. I think Hamilton's really used, though, to running the bottom side of this racetrack. Into the wall goes Connor LaFrance off of turn numbers 3 and 4. Forced into it by Nate Brody. Gonna ride on board with Connor LaFrance. He's coming through turns 3 and 4. Gonna watch Brody on that inside line. LaFrance gets the run, looks high. Oh, man. I mean, that's a tough one to call because, I mean, LaFrance was there, sort of. Was a late shot of the door by Nate Brody, but could you really call LaFrance being alongside? I don't think so. That might have been the 11 car doing that to himself. Spencer Ray is going to go through on LaFrance now as LaFrance starting to lose speed with that fresh right side damage now. Tell LaFrance he is struggling at the moment with his excuse me, his number 11 car. As you can see the damage, even to the roof flap there. Again, right front side, turn 4. That turn 4 wall is the bane of every iRacer's existence when they come to Dover International Speedway, myself included. And I got to be completely honest, when it comes to racetracks like this, I've driven the ball. I'm not a fan of driving this track, but I love watching it. It is such a driver's track. You have to always be on your feet. You have to constantly be working. It's a very demanding racetrack. It's so easy to get loose. It's so easy to spin the tires, especially on restarts. Luckily, we've only had 2 of those tonight. Hopefully, we won't be getting any more. Matt Rucci, though, looks like he started to lose some pace as Hunter Thrower started to pull out a gap, and now Michael Kenner trying to take the fight to the 88 car. But he's not able to make a hole as Rucci's going to hang on to second. Coming up to lap number 65, and Thrower now has led the longest portion of this race that he's been out there for. It's not the first time he's been in the lead this race, but it's the longest he's been out there as of right now, though he still has to run more laps than that of Michael Kenner. As we head away, though, 65 down, 65 to go. Why don't I take a run down through your field so far to how this race is shaking up. Hunter Thrower still up in the lead, and that gap continuing to grow up to a second. Rucci, Kenner, Wells, and Hamilton round out the top 5, running line astern, with Nate Brody just clinging on for 6th place back there. About a second back from them, you'll have Sean Kaiser with the likes of Spencer Ray, Lucas Strayer, Connor LaFrance, Grant Peterson, as well as Mark Brannigan Jr. for the top dozen or so. But they got Mayor Morton down in 13th, and Bob Peterson in 14th. Stephen Purcell is in 15th. And you got Tyler Granite, Matt LaValle, Austin Gassion, and Justin Wilson rounds out the back of the field down in 19th place. Apparently something happened to the 41 car on lap number 63 here. See if we can't get a look at what happened to Lucas Strayer, as this is up to the outside wall. I think this is 1 and 2 here. This is, so we'll keep an eye on this one. And Jacob, you're the one that called this one out. What'd you see there?
Looks like Strayer gets in the outside wall, and Spencer has nowhere to go.
Oh, no kidding. Yeah, big hit there for the 41. That's big damage on both cars. As that
Lucas has been dropping since then.
He certainly has, and in fact, Lucas Strayer now down 9 total positions, and he just lost another one to Connor LaFrance just earlier on this lap. So, yeah, that 41 car losing a fair bit of speed here now, as... In fact, he's about to lose another one here, as we're going to see Mark Brannigan Jr. look to the inside again on 41 car. So at the moment, he needs a caution so he can come in, get that damage fixed. Now, my question is, how bad is Spencer Ray's damage? Because that was a pretty considerable hit so far. And in fact, actually good view for this. And actually look on board the back of Sean Kaiser's machine. And well, it's not the best view, but you can see there is a bit of a crumpled in. Again, that right front. So it's not bad. It's not great either, so it's manageable, is I think a good turn of phrase for that one. Thrower's gap has started to decrease this last time by Matt Rucci, about 0.2 of a second quicker. So it looks like Hunter Thrower's burned up all of his stuff trying to stay in front. As as meanwhile Matt Rucci is trying to close in the gap. You can see the lap times between them as Thrower's advantage is beginning. Rucci was getting smaller and smaller, and now he's started to lose spots, or lose time, I should say. Another 2/10 that last time by, so Rucci going to be all over the back here of Hunter Thrower before too long. It's down to under half a second. We're about to have ourselves a really good fight here for the race lead. Off of turn 2, onto the back straightaway as Rucci continues to close on Hunter Thrower. The thing about Dover, though, is it's the pure definition of catching is one thing, passing is another. And Rucci's going to have to find a way to get around Hunter Thrower. He can't use the good old, oh, your car's damaged, so I'm just going to make quick work of you either. This is going to be a pass that Rucci is going to have to set up here on one of these straightaways, and he's looking to make it here on the backstretch to the inside line. Underneath Thrower. And Rucci right back to the race lead. Oh, maybe not for long, though, as Thrower goes for the cutback down the front straightaway. The 83 car with a good head of steam, washing up the track, trying to force the 88 up and out of the groove. It's not going to happen, though. And Rucci might just be able to hang on for the race lead, and he does. But what an effort for Thrower to try to get back to him. Deep run in the field here. Sean Kaiser trying to move up to Conda LaFrance, while Mark Brannigan Jr. has wanted to find a way through with Robert Peterson as well. Bit loose there look for Sean Kaiser, Kaiser is starting to lose a little bit of time as Justin Wilson will finally become the first car to be put one lap down, this time down to the turns 3 and 4. This is now the longest green flag run that we've had so far this race. It's also the most spread out that the field has gotten since the drop of this green flag. And Stefan Purcell going to become the first driver to take to pit road under green flag stops. Mark Brannigan Jr. clears Sean Kaiser off of turn 4. Meanwhile, as Purcell will enter his pit box, and will this be a 4-tire stop? I'd be surprised there if it wasn't, to be completely frank. Sure enough, 4 tires and fuel for the number 57. Kaiser still fighting here against Robert Peterson. Peterson looking low. And we'll bump Sean Kaiser down to 12 as Peterson makes the pass for 11th. Look at how the schedule's going to be shaking up throughout the rest of the chase-off, and you've got Watkins Glen coming on up next week, where you'll be having yourselves a 40-lap race around Thunder Road. Morton with a big jump to the inside of Kaiser, and will make short work of the All-American Motorsports number 24. They got Iowa Speedway, a location we've already been to once this season, although more the preseason, still counts. Homestead, ever the finale classic, going to be wrapping it up tonight. Well, not tonight, but at the middle of October, on October the 11th. Some exciting 4 races left, and what a season it has been so far. As this has just been, phenomenal race from start to finish. I would say the only real race that left a little something to be desired, honestly, would have been Mid-Ohio. But even that, you had constant mistakes everywhere, which made that race entertaining to watch, because it was a race of, who could stay on their game throughout the entirety of the race. I mean, this really just has been an awesome season. I mean, this is the first season that the OMSRL Xfinity Series has had broadcasted in their league's history. But boy, was it ever worth it to come on for this season, because this has just been an absolute pleasure. And you've still got battles everywhere as Granite picks off a slowing Sean Kaiser. Lucas Strayer now falls another spot. He's got 2 seconds back to the next car. Lucas Strayer, what a fall for him. He started all the way up on pole position. And now, after fighting the top 5 for so long, he's all the way down to 16th, with the only hope of getting that damage fixed being a caution. Kenner's caught Hunter throwing. He's going to make that pass work down through 3 and 4. Clears in turn 4 just before the pit wall, and will take off with 2nd place in the dash to turn 1. How about Spencer Ray, Condon LaFrance going side by side once more as Ray takes the high side away. Got a lot of drivers actually that are starting to close in on each other, and I think that's courtesy of Justin Wilson, who you can see right at the top shelf. Wilson, of course, is a lap down and slow as a result. And Strayer will finally back out as he will hit pit road for the first time under green. I'd imagine, though, this is going to end up being a long stop for Strayer, though, as he's going to try to get at least some of that damage fixed. Way to the inside of the racetrack goes Tyler Gredit. Not sure what went wrong there. Want to see, though, if we can try to get a view of what just happened here to Gredit. And we'll back it up just a little bit more. Might have to go through the whole lap here. I want to see what just happened to Gredit as to what just caused him to get so low down the back straightaway. As I've just been corrected by pit reporter Jacob Noyes, they do have a fast spare. I keep forgetting about that. So many leagues I call don't have that in the back pocket. So obviously that fast spare going to get him out within just 15 seconds. Oh, contact between him and Stefan Purcell sends him to the inside lane, but it was barely anything to write home about, as Peterson goes down to the lane. Pit window is very much open. Now it's a question of when do you want to come on down and in. You've got Nate Brody still trying to make up some speed here. Sorry, make that, actually, you know what? I think that might be. It is Lucas Strayer unlapping himself from cars throughout this field. Purcell's to the inside of LaFrance and trying to make up some spots. Steph Purcell also running with fresh rubber, trying to just unlap himself. Mavrucci will take to the pit road as the 88 Badger Racing car finally bails out, and might be trying to hope that maybe this undercut will keep him out in front, and he's not the only one. Look at Spencer Ray and Bear Morton all coming down into pit road as well. It's not the old one as Michael Kenner and Hunter Thrower both come on down and in. Michael Kenner locked up the tires. Hamilton's going to be in as well. Brody will inherit the race lead. Wells is in. So a big chunk of drivers now all into pit road. One by one, drivers continue to cycle their way through. Currently, we're waiting on Brody, LaFrance, Brannigan, Peterson, Grenick, Gassion, LaValle, all to come on down to pit. That's your top 7. I'm believing everybody else here is going to be good to go to the end. Second through fifth here running so strongly together, nose to tail. They are not showing any signs of wanting to pit anytime soon as we're about to hit 30 laps left to go in the car thrower 130. And Peterson's going to make the dive to the inside of Mark Brannigan Jr. Brody makes the call to enter pit road, and I want to keep our eyes on this grouping up here and kind of ride on board because pit road can be such a challenge to get down and onto at a track like Dover where the speeds are so high and it just flies up on you so suddenly for being only a mile long. Hopefully, oh wow, a big loose ball for Brannigan off the corner that time by. I'd be surprised if it would have come to the pit road this time around. Kenner unlaps up by sneaking to the inside. Not just yet. They're going to stay out of pit road. Peterson, I think, collected the outside wall just a moment ago. That lets Brannigan close on up with Tyler Grennan in tow. Oh boy, and here's Matt Rucci. This is going to get tight here as Rucci is going to be trying to find his way through. See the back of that 16 car wiggling around so much as he struggles to maintain control over that car. They're both in the wall. Grennan following Brannigan up, and it looks like they're trying to work together to figure out when they want to come on down and in, but now Grannan's done waiting. He's going to get to the inside of Brannigan. Brannigan lets Grennan have it. Under 30 laps left to go from Dover. And another shot to the outside wall gives advantage to Brannigan as Grennan tanks it. But again, he's not wanting to pit in. It's such a peculiar decision. You'd have thought by now everybody would be wanting to come on down to the pit road. Grannan's looking low. And there it is, Robert Peterson making the trip to pit road, and you can hear and see him twitching out constantly, just trying to struggle and make it in on time. Just waiting now on your top 3 to come on down into the lane. And there it is, Tyler Grennan finally making the trip down into the lane, but really stepping that back end out as well. I'd be shocked if LaFrance, Brannigan, and Moore did not come in this time around. They cannot keep staying out there for this long and hope to maintain their position. They've got to come in quickly here. Caution is out! And Justin Wilson has junked the race car. That was the one thing I think that LaFrance, Brannigan, and Gassion were waiting on. This could very well trap some drivers a lap down. A critical scene has just opened up as Justin Wilson wrecks hard on the front straightaway. And kind of weaving around. Oh, we got hooked by LaValle. LaValle just dumps Justin Wilson coming on down the racetrack. That is an interesting one. This will be a top-down angle. We'll see if, does he turn up or, I don't know what to make of that one, but I want to get another look before I say anything for certain on this one. Almost as he got sucked into him, but it's a bit hard to say for sure. Still, though, that's a very, very nasty hit. As he will go into the inside wall. That obviously forces the yellow flag. Wilson does a good job, though, of getting it down and off the track quickly. But in fact, Wilson then had more trouble. And now this would be under the yellow flag, and unless he's just stopped it and taken the toe to pit road. Caution flag is out, though, for now the third time tonight. And this is going to change up the whole complexity of this race. Colby Wells, currently your race leader. We'll take a quick step back. We'll be back in just a few minutes.
Coming up to the line, being chased, and it was Braden Johnson. Unbelievable finish. It was 1/1000th of a second between them.
Green flag in the air. We are racing in the 2020 24 Hours of Daytona.
They go door to door for the feature race lead here on the last lap of the race. Side by side for the race lead in the final corner at Homestead.
Down the back straightaway, 3 wide again for the race lead. This is unbelievable stuff here tonight.
Loma is going to have to be very deep on the brakes, and he is very deep on the brakes. It's side by side through the corner. This is for the win.
It'll be side by side. Davies low, Ottinger high. To the very inside is Garrett Lowe. 4 wide at the stripe. For all his work here on this outside line, neck and neck. Who's going to back out? Does anyone back out? Verstappen starts to squeeze on the inside, and now he'll try and straight line it. Goes under the apron. Drag race to the line. It's so close to call.
Lights out above the iRacing pace car as a lot of drivers, and I mean a lot of drivers, circle themselves around. At the end of the day, only Kaiser will be 1 lap down. Justin Wilson, he's out of the race. Hamilton on back, all had to come on around. They'll be lining up single file at the tail end of the field. It has been a very eventful race so far, and it's going to be an eventful finish as well at this rate, with coming to 19 laps to go from Dover in the car for 130. Could we potentially see a first-time winner as well? Colby Wells did end up coming down to pit road along with others. It'll be LaFrance to take us back to the green flag. Back to green. LaFrance on the jump, gets up and clear as we're double file down to turn 1. Oh, big contact! LaValle shoved up and wide by Michael Kenner. Make that almost a second hit as LaValle tries to scramble. He's still saving it into the outside wall. Hamilton has to scramble as well. A messy, messy restart throughout the field as Matt LaValle almost gets turned. Get a look at this one from the air. for this initial hit. Watch as Kenner just drives it in deep towards the 61. It sends him up and wide. Now we're going to ride on board as you see him lose control of turn 2, and then he had to wrestle this car all the way down the back straightaway. A little bit of a hit to the wall, but could have been a lot worse. Austin Gassion trying to keep Michael Kenner at bay. The 98 car all over the back of the 7. He's going to look for the inside. Gassion's not going to fight it. Yes, he will. To the inside goes the 98. And more contact. The 7 back to the track, and now Kenner's down. Michael Kenner going around, middle of 3 and 4. Caution flags out. Look out for the field, and Robert Peterson with nowhere to go. A messy restart sees Michael Kenner's race end in tatters. We're going to look at the replay of this one, as that is so unfortunate for Michael Kenner, as he just got turned right around in the middle of all of this mess. Shoves Gassion up, immediately gets hooked by Hunter Thrower. The 98 goes up, and then he immediately has to spin down. Nowhere to go for Robert Peterson. And Baron Morton really jams on the binders deeper in the field. Want to get a look with Baron Morton here, as a good chunk of the field, by the way, has come on down under this latest yellow flag. For pit service, you see them wrecking up top. Yeah, just lock it down and pick your way around. A little bit of a scrape, but honestly, it was negligible at that point. Take another swing at that replay attempt there, as there's the first hit and there's the second. And up to the outside wall goes Michael Kenner, down to the inside, and just nowhere to go for Robert Peterson. I feel bad for the 97 car. That was a fairly hefty hit. Hopefully it's not too bad, though, in the midst of all of this. And obviously that is not at all how you want a restart like that to go. We knew it was going to be a feisty restart there, though. Didn't expect it to go quite to that extent, though. Gonna see if I can get a real brief look on board the rear of one of these drivers. Want to see if I can find one right behind Robert Peterson. Fast repair looks like it was taken for the number 97 car, which explains why there is no damage anymore there. But just out of curiosity, let's see what the damage would have been had he not had that fast repair. Seeing as how I can't keep my notes straight on that one, may as well make a little bit of a game out of it, and we'll see what would have become of this one. Watch the cars up the road. 1, 2. Round goes Kenner up to the outside wall, and pretty big hit at that. And in fact, Spencer Ray, you actually saw, got into the inside wall as well. And in fact, we're going to take one final look at this one, but this time on board with Hunter Thrower. As, Kenner was already slowing up. Not a whole lot that he could realistically do in that type of situation. Hunter Thrower already used his fast repair, looks like, early in this race. As you can see, no front clip on the number 83 car. So we're going to have to definitely watch for slow traffic on this restart, and that could be detrimental to a lot of drivers this race. Had so many races this year come to a close under the yellow flag. I mean, you look at Richmond. Richmond was a bad race for that. Indianapolis was a bad race for that. Hoping that we can end this race off here on a high note. Finish it out under green with hopefully an exciting finish to boot. One driver, though, to look out for on this restart going to be that number 6 car, Spencer Ray. Fresh rubber underneath the All-American Motorsports number 6 Ford Mustang. Back to Green Flag Racing, LaFrance on the jump. A much cleaner restart this time throughout the field. Hunter Thrower doesn't look to have lost as much pace as I thought he might have, but that damage would definitely be. Oh, there we go again! Kenner outside wall, and this time it's going to be the big one. Strayer's involved, so is Hamilton, LaValle, Kenner for a second time, Morton, Peterson, and Kaiser all collected. The big one on lap 119. And the caution flag, he's out once more. Make that lap, I believe, almost 120 at this point in time. Gonna try to hunt down Michael Kenner here, but it looks like he got tipped by LaValle, and it was just on from there. Nowhere for a lot of these drivers to go, but Kenner got absolutely destroyed in that wreck. Let's see how this one started off properly here. It was with Brody, I believe, in the 98 car. Kenner goes down and clears, and Brody just runs over the quarter panel, and that sends everybody scrambling into the outside wall, and Mort was actually up into the air and almost over as a result of that wreck. Big wreck there for a good portion of the drivers in this mess, as we will get a look at this one from top side. Man, it's just one car after another, isn't it? And a very messy wreck for everybody involved in that one. But meanwhile, caution flag is back out. Less than 10 laps to go from Dover. Don't go away, though. We'll be back in just a few more for the restart.
SoundArt introduces an entirely new way to listen to music in your home. By combining the best of two products, a revolutionary high-fidelity, low-profile Bluetooth wireless speaker with beautiful artwork. Select from a library of artwork or upload your own photos to personalize your experience. SoundArt ushers in an era of invisible, beautiful, and amazing sound throughout your home and redefines your entire entertainment system. The need to reclaim your floor space and rid your home of unsightly speaker boxes that need to be bolted to the wall is now a thing of the past. Our canvas is printed on high-quality permalite by Breathing Color. And select from our gallery or upload your own. Standard sizes include 16 by 20 and 18 by 24 canvas wrapped. Custom sizing is available, as well as surround sound options.
Still under our 5th caution flag of the evening, but now with just 8 laps to go and with 1 to green. Field is stacked up, doubled up, we're ready to go back racing once more. And it is a Chevy fest up there at the front of the field. Front 3 rows all made up of Chevrolet Camaros. LaFrance, Brannigan, Gassion, Rucci, Wells, and Thrower all collected there in a line. And some information on the 16 of Mark Brannigan Jr. just rolling in. Jacob, why don't you tell us what just went down there?
Well, the 16 has a black flag from jumping the start. The iRacing restart system gives them a speed limit, and he must have exceeded it, so he's got a black flag he has to serve under green.
Black flag start for the 16 and not a lot of time to serve it at all. He's got 8 laps to get it done. We'll see if he can get it to pit road prior to this race coming to its conclusion. Green flags back out. LaFrance hightails it down in 3 and 4. We're already on to the apron. Brody's up and into the outside wall. Did not take long for Mayhem to kick off as Nate Brody gets up into the high side wall. Watch for the 16 of Brannigan. He is not about to come down to pit road this time down. He can't. He's got cars on his inside line. And now Brannigan's into the outside wall. That wells through and Matt Rucci. It's all starting to kick off at the moment as Austin Castiglione tries to run down Conor LaFrance and make himself a pass. Logan Hamilton all over the shot trying to get around Tyler Granite. Oh, into the wall! Oh no, Rucci! Rucci's around and it's a huge wreck on the front straightaway. Multiple cars collected and Rucci is destroyed. Back to the outside wall. It's the second race in a row that goes south for the defending champion. Could this be championship was done? Robert Peterson still wrecking against the inside wall. And this, I believe, will take us to overtime. Before we do any of that, I want to get a glimpse as to what happened to Nate Brody here as they entered turn number 1, as Brody got way out of shape and got into the outside wall in a big way. It was on lap 123. Oh, contact with Grenett sends Brody up and into the outside wall hard. And then just 3 laps later, this happens to Matt Rucci. Cole Wells gets into the wall. Rucci goes down, rebounds back up and collects Granite. Hamilton, Robert Peterson with nowhere to go again. And all 4 cars collected in yet another major incident. A look from the side cameras here as just to the wall and then just nowhere to go, and a wild wreck for a lot of the guys in this field as Robert Peterson just body slammed that inside wall. And Robert Peterson, oh, are you kidding me? He got into Tyler Granite again. So this is after the yellow flag comes out. We're going to stay on Peterson for this one because there's a second incident actually in this one as to why Peterson was still spinning. I thought he maybe lost it on the transition and just went down, but that's not the case at all. Granite smoking, he comes down to try to get to the apron and just gets into the 97 and sends him back to the inside wall. And we will now get a ride on board with Robert Peterson. They saw Mark Brannigan Jr. I think he might have just gotten in time before the caution flag came out to the road to serve his penalty. But it goes low and he just can't do anything. He tried to throttle it just so he could get around there in time, but there was just no hope at all. So it is going to be green-white checkered attempt number 1. And there has been an unpleasant history this season so far when it comes to those green-white checkered finishes. They have just not gone OMSRL's way so far. I mentioned before we've had at least 2 races that have ended underneath the iRacing pace car as a result. Dover is very much a cautions breed, cautions racetrack, especially though late in the game. But LaFrance and Castiglione, they've been racing it very clean so far. But they've been very aggressive as well with each other and trying to get away from the rest of the field. Rucci's out of the fight. There's no doubt about that. Now, obviously, I'm not much of a math person. So I'm actually going to go to Jacob for this one because he is one of the series organizers and, you know, a longtime runner of this series as well. Jacob, does this eliminate Rucci's chances at going for a 4th title?
You know, it's going to be very, very difficult for him to get in, but it's Rucci, so a race win where he leads the most laps on a pole, that can definitely get him back up into the point. So he's a pretty good road course driver. He's got a chance. It's a slim one, but there's a chance.
I think I've never heard something that sums it up more than before. It's like that in like the league that I helped to run as well. It's like, oh, you know, it's a long shot, but it's Rucci, so it's not really a long shot.
Exactly.
He's just got to wait for that next software update. He'll be right back into it. I think this is going to be a battle between those front two rows to take this race win. Colby Wells just has not been there on the restart so far tonight at Dover. He has been a bit falling back. It's always been Gassillon up the bumper, Conde La France. They just have to make it around to the white flag, then we're going to be fine. By the way, Colby Wells on that latest brief sprint just got a new fastest lap of the race, a 23.64, and Robert Peterson is attempting to use smokescreen. It's not very effective. I'm not sure why he thinks he's going to be able to stay out there like that. His car is going to die for the end of this race. I know that for a fact. Meanwhile, though, pace car is down, and then green-white check at attempt number 1 from Dover. La France enters the restart zone. Do they make it to the white flag? Back to green. Gassillon immediately tried to cover off Colby Wells, but it wasn't going to happen. Wells was still there, and Wells is still going to be there fighting for second place. La France up top, or make that in the middle, trying to keep Gassillon at bay. Gassillon clears for second. Trying to come around. Got to make it to that white flag before this race can be official. They made it to 3 and 4. White flags waving. They're going to make it. Colby Wells throwing it to the inside of Austin Gassillon. Trying to get him for the second place. He's going to wreck Austin Gassillon. Gassillon's in the wall. And he's going to collect multiple drivers as a result. Huge crash. 3 cars flying upside down to the back straightaway. Conde La France with no more competition wins the car thrower 130. And a second wreck coming to the checkered flag behind them. There is a lot to look at here. We're going to start with the white flag and what just happened to the second place runner and more as they all get collected in a big wreck on the back straightaway. Into the catch fencing goes under thrower, roll over Sean Kaiser, Barrett Morton, and more. While all that's going on, they were wrecking again in turn numbers 3 and 4. We'll get a look at this one for Grant Peterson as he was actually collecting the initial wreck. And they were still wrecking from the last track, actually, as Purcell gets into Peterson, and it's just complete chaos back here. And LaValle escapes both those wrecks and picks up multiple spots. We're going to have to take a look at all of this, actually, coming back towards the checkered flag. We're going to look at this in 2 formats. We're going to look first at the white flag as a whole from up top. Then we're going to go from the middle. Keep eyes on Austin Gassillon. There's the contact with Wells. Up into the wall, then he comes down, gets into everybody else, and it is just chaos from there. And then Grant Peterson, in the midst of all this, goes for a wild ride of his own. But the real impressive feat, Matt LaValle worked his way back up to 6th place from way back into the field. He is all the way back here, keep in mind. And watch this madness as he flies around to take the white flag. Just right on. There's nothing to say here. Nails Sean Kaiser, but somehow escapes any damage there and just goes right to the outside of all these drivers. Then forces it 3 wide up the middle. They beat and bang coming to the line, but LaValle hangs on for 6th. What a ride with the 61 car on that final lap. And as Conde La France burns it down to the front straightaway, we're going to take it, well, actually turn 4 at this point. We're going to take a look at your official post-race results with the car thrower 130. Cardinal of France, your winner, Spencer Ray in second. Wells is third. Logan Hamilton is in fourth with Nate Brody in fifth. Stefan Purcell is down in sixth place with Lucas Strayer in seventh. Michael Kenner in eighth. Austin Gassion is ninth. Grant Peterson rounds out the top 10 with Sean Kaiser, the last car on the lead lap. From there, you've got Bear Morton, Hunter Thrower, Mark Brannigan Jr., Matt LaValle, Robert Peterson, Tyler Grenett, Matt Rucci, Justin Wilson, Jacob Noyes, Kyle Munson, and Cody Harrelson, all not making starts of this race. Some of them more obvious reasons than others. Holy cow. What a race. And what a way to end it up. My one unfortunate complaint about this race, we don't have any of the top three to talk to tonight. So instead of that, we're just going to end on a high note here. What a race that we have had tonight. It has just been an absolute joy to call this race from Dover. Once again, another track that just cannot provide a dull race in the OMSRL Xfinity Series. Up next, my personal favorite road course on the NASCAR calendar, Watkins Glen, comes on up to round out September. We'll see you all there in upstate New York.
There are moments that surprise and delight the mind and the senses. Introducing SoundArt, the world's first truly customizable, concealed, flat-panel art speaker system. A revolutionary combination of incredible sound delivered from your most meaningful pictures. When art and technology intersect, there is a seamless blend of creativity and function.
Come alive in the streetlight, pulling at the stars in the moonlight. Every time I feel you close.
With SoundArt, anyone can print their own artwork or pick from numerous licensed artwork that we have. The possibilities are limitless. Enjoy beautiful and amazing sound throughout your home. The entire surface of your artwork generates incredibly robust sound. SoundArt is elegantly hidden behind a high-grade, textured canvas wrap, bringing together the best of sound and art. This innovative design allows for a truly invisible, high-fidelity sound experience without bulky speakers. For licensors and other businesses, we are capable of producing thousands of units per day.
We're using the highest quality materials to give you the best product available in the market. Everywhere you look, there's always art. What I like so much about SoundArt, that you could just pair it and play.
Ansia, your art never sounded so good.